I'm going to leaf through some books and see if I can find the pages that I have marked to read, which is probably something I can't do very well, but you'll bear with me. Shades of San Francisco, Baltimore Eclipse, children, mansions, that's in Santa Clara, California. In 1968, they're all over, Pam and I traveled to Europe for some strange reason and landed in Paris, which is under police, under the state. They called them Southern CRS. It was kind of like the National Guard. And we were searching for Pam's mother in Claude-Bellevue across the West Bank. And so I thought there was no transportation, so I thought I'd send them flowers and we'd jump in the van. But the flowers were on bicycles. The flower delivery was on bicycles. June 1968, to be specific, because the headline comes out. In Paris, the black and red flags fly from the Sorbonne. In Paris, the workers and students unite, and I look for a precedent of world revolution. Find out the communists are bourgeois pigs, and General de Gaulle told the people that the shit in the beds would get them cut out and let them flounder in a political vacuum until they would burn their own cars and cry for a leader. His warped experience and Southern CRS superior to the slingshots of cerebral students, while the communists jack off the Frenchmen. Charges began at 2 a.m., the delicate chops intact. By lunchtime, the stones are placed in the street, the cars hauled off, gas in the air, the Frenchman has his lunch. If you want to miss the revolt, go to bed early and wake up at noon. Outside the coupole, the sweet bums are kissing à la Genet. The active ones anyway, not those grown formless, huddled against the wall, skin draped, as if pinched off a rotten soft peach. And in the coupole, the very rich and the very young and the very beautiful boys and girls caught slumming talk all night of how they wreck their cars, how many speeding tickets they have got, and properly surrounded by their artisans, they buy their stage and leave. A newspaper reads, "Bye-bye, Bobby," and all about gun-crazed America. Late that night, the cafe was cleared with police and tear gas outside. Stranded with a journalist, I took a napkin to wrap around my face and camped. Can you imagine an American in this situation without a gun? And then one evening, before the delicate French moon trailed above the balconies of Philadelphia, dripping pools of silver and sky through black-shadowed street that Pam walked through childhood bricks. The next day, we lit a candle for Kennedy in Notre Dame in front of a statue with a serpent at its feet. Went over to London. In a very neat and sensible flat lives one true genius of contemporary American prose. More like a poet, he veers and speaks both naturally and subliminally, or more like a medium, he chats pleasantly from a space apart, or from a chamber of spirits disguised in an everyday world. A tall man, slightly stooped from the weight of all the combinations and formulas of all possible plots, Mr. Burroughs rises and leans against the window. Could have been a St. Louis farmer or merchant about to speculate on the weather. Those birds, he says, gesturing out the window to a flock that caught his fancy. In the morning they fly one way, and in the evening they fly back the other way. And with that, he reached for his hat, and we went to the local pub for brandy. A little bit from, that was from Trashing of America, and published in 1974 by Culture Foundation. This is Some Other Sons, a sort of a self-published book my daughter put together for me because I was in Cherry Valley, and because I was tired of publishers fucking me up. So this is back to Kansas, we say, 1955. Doc Moonlight bought. You guys want to say something?
I'm just gonna move the mic.
If you want to interrupt.
You're too close to the mic.
Yeah.
You're speaking too close to the mic.
Thank you. How's this?
Very good.
Okay. Just a minute. Uno minuto. Good deal. Hey, here's one right here. Lauren, come here.
There's one right here.
Hesitate to interject about anything that's on your mind. Because, you know, in every eye of the universe, back to 1955, if any of you can bear with me that long. It's a long time ago, I understand. Doc Moonlight bought a brand new T-Bird from writing scripts, amphetamines, drove fast bodies over the high steps. 50 years ago, his daddy bought a mare in Dodge City. Wyatt Earp's grandson now sells new cars in Wichita. Life on the high plains, borrowed on a pile of loans. I drove. Ronnie handed me pounds, selected poems. Outside Zip's club, we smoked and pissed. Inside, Pack Rat picked his bass and bliss. His eyes rolled back in close fret. Scoobop to do, de bip, bip, from hip to hop, beat 'em bop. Next set. Like cat cartoon characters boing back, swinging man on an astrological star, his nose inhalers packed behind the bar, candy wrappers, cosmos, and benzodrine, dragnet, luncheonette, make the scene play it straight if fate says best, really bad, half sad, oh fay, oh say, shuffle on down and slide away from the mass, honest mizoka, jizz on a grizz ass, a rapid Ronnie Razamut and ran him up, thief, pimp, artist, hood, alias, barberdoll, Bob, stood under the neon of Zip's club. His subterranean bellhop boyhood forays met Kansas' big intersectional Almores. By the light from the stained glass windows, he sketched pictures between the shows. Illuminated in gold-faced, fading stories, he saw his dreams fly specked with glory. He stuffed his pockets with dope and dates of whores, while he gazed too far beyond the gaily painted doors. Rapid Ronnie rides the moonlight high. Pack Rat scoffed his pills and played melodic, drank oxybiotic that made him neurotic. Jimmy Mammy, just out of the joint, heard Big Indian was going to steal Doc's Thunderbird. Ronnie went along, reciting Pound's verse, riding the terrible crossroads of the universe. Big Indian let out a yell of centuries of pain, drove right into the Bulldog's tractor-trailer lane. Jimmy Mammy broke his jaw and lay in years of highs. Ronnie grew old in secret under California skies. Big Indian lay dead, his eyes confused, staring at the heavens forever wider than his moon's new earth that refused him shelter from the great white spider. Another old friend here, you'll recognize it. John Cassidy in the audience by any chance? It's a song for his father. Oh, really, really, Neil. His first love was the automobile. Drove a 34 Ford with suicide doors, a stick shift on the floor, dragging down Main to Colfax Avenue, jumping in the backseat boulevard, kicked back, watching asses in the rear view, cruising past the high school, clock on the dash reading 10:18, past the neon diner, last stop for Benzedrine, and onward to another scene. Chicks would rob a joint just to buy him food. One hand on the wheel, the other in her mood. The blue-eyed kid and the wild-eyed Bobby Soxer, California surfers, tarot card sharks, and word shooters, found Anne Marie in Frisco. Like a hurricane cock, didn't need the Sexual Freedom League, driving with white pills and pot, but was really addicted to the wheel. Come back to old San Francisco, flower children all over the streets. Carried starstruck Anne Marie in his arms. The Denver kid, he never returns. Traded her Chevrolet coupe for an old Pontiac. Up the hills, down the curves, gear it down, pump the brakes. Old Mother Ginsburg backseat driving, turning towards Avalon. Driving down Van Ness, jumping parking meters. One hand on the gear shift, the other copping a feel. One hand up her dress, the other on the wheel. Stole a car in Denver just to hear it peal. Black driving in the races, stole a car in Denver just to hear it squeal. He moved so fast, he was in Cincinnati and then in Kalamazoo. Women asked what to do and wanted him to be true. Parked in front of Gulf Street in a 50s red and white Plymouth Fury. Just back from seeing Kerouac in a hurry. Patrol car in the mirror. The old white and blacks drove past someone with little white pills heading into town. He jumped in the driver's seat and spun that fury around. The roads were paved with powder all the way to Mexico, and train tracks shined in the moon. Did hard time for 2 reefers and came out smoking boo. First road warrior, never knew what he did wrong to.